Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You're at the spot, the place, where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You're back at your favorite spot, the best podcast on the planet. The place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, the responses are never dull. And today we are going to raise your frequency. We're going to change your vibration. Sometimes we're at a low level, I get it, but we cannot stay there. We want you to have your highest and greatest good. We want you to ask what else is possible and how can it get any better than this? Today we're going to be with Dr. Reema Shamim. From Australia. And I'm going to get her to talk about something I didn't think she doesn't think she's going to talk about. We're going to talk about her wonderful body products. I've been watching too, but that's not the focus of the interview. The focus of the interview is to really kind of the work that she's doing now. She's transitioning, she's pivoting. She helps women who are done shrinking themselves rediscover their inner boldness through the human design. The human design is big $25 buzzwords. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that someone sketched you out. That means that you've done the inside work and you've created a diagram for how you want to be, who you are, and how you align with others in the universe. Let's bring it to the show. How are you, Dr. Reema?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, I'm excited to have you. I've been watching you. I love that coat that you had on too. You got an animal fur coat?
Oh, I love that one. That's like, yeah, that's me in a coat.
Yeah, that's it. I was like, oh, look at that. She is looking 5,000. So introduce yourself to my brains, please, Reema, and tell them how you show up in the world.
Yeah. So this. Oh, what an amazing journey! What an amazing journey. I, you know, coming from a very loved family that protected me, loved me, encouraged me to be who I am. I still was always playing small, and there's so many things, there's so many factors that come into play when, as women, we think about really stepping into ourselves in this world. And even though I had this really loving upbringing, I was always playing small. And it took me a while to really understand who I was at the core of my being and really step into that. And you know what? And it's funny, April, you say about my coat, because it was almost like shedding coats.
Mm.
It's like I take
it.
one coat off and then I get comfortable in the inner coat and then I take that one off. And every shedding of a coat was like a rebirth.
Mm.
And
Wow.
it's such somebody was I was talking to someone the other day, and when I said rebirth, they said, oh my God, rebirth coming from the mouth of an obstetrician gynecologist, how appropriate is that?
Well, I was talking to my other guest yesterday and he talked about rebirth, and I asked him, did he believe in reincarnation? Oh, I don't know. I said, well, when people say, Christians say, I'm born again, or you've had a rebirth, or you've had a great dark night of the soul and you've come through with an epiphany, that is a reincarnation.
Yes.
And so we have to look at that and say, look, how was this designed? Now, you had a beautiful family. You came from India. I know that your mother was very, was a doctor as well, correct?
She still is, yes.
And still is, and had high expectations for you.
Yeah.
How did that lend to you playing small? Because you've got people that, demand excellence of you. And that is the culture. That's a lot of our cultures. They demand that. It's not an option. But then you're saying, oh, maybe I don't want to do this, or what I'm doing is not so significant or important. How did that fit into it?
So, yeah, growing up, I always knew my parents had lots of expectations out of me. It was just because I was the golden child.
Mm.
They would ask something of me and I would deliver on a silver platter and I would go one better.
Mm-hmm.
And that expectation just grew. And what I didn't realize when I was young was I was carrying the weight of those expectations.
Mhm.
And the real me was just getting buried. And I, you know what, I have come a long way in this journey, and I know what they did was very few parents do what they did for me. You know, I am, and you know what, as parents, I'm a parent now, and I totally believe that if you're a parent, you're going to traumatize your child.
That's a part of the assignment.
So but I have moved away from that, and I truly believe they did the best they could. But it doesn't take away from the fact that I really wasn't, that wasn't who I was. At the core of my being, there was more to me, you know, being a doctor. And I like, I'll just say this, I don't, and it's a huge deal to be a doctor. It's a huge deal to be in that profession, and you know, to work so hard and do, you know, there are people who dream of that, and I, you know, I fulfill that dream. But it also doesn't, I have to say that that was not who I was. There was still more to me. And maybe outwardly it may seem like I had it all, but inwardly, I like, on the inside, there was something in me that was just missing.
Now,
And
were you an only child?
no, I have a younger brother.
Okay, you have a younger brother. And I say this, and correct me if I'm wrong, culturally,
Yep.
uh usually the males are the ones that are thrust forward or expected to do certain things, the lineage of the family. I get that. And then the daughter comes in, and you again exceed all the expectations. But what was it that was missing? You say that you were, that you were playing small. Did you want to maybe be on the volleyball team and they said, no, you got to study? Or was it like, you wanted to go to the parties and, be the popular girl and they said, no, that's not. What is it that what you felt was missing there?
I just felt like I was betraying myself on some level.
Mm,
I felt like, you know, since I was a little child, I remember, because my dad always wanted me to be a doctor. Since the day I started to talk, people would ask me, what would you like to be? And I would say, I want to be a doctor.
okay.
Yeah. So it was almost like that was instilled in me.
Mm,
And I kind of felt like maybe I missed that opportunity to really go, what do I really want to be?
mhm.
You know, and I believe this in the core of my heart, that people pleasers start as parent pleasers.
Right, right,
You know, and this is not out of, you know, this is not like, I'm not talking about trauma and stuff, but because, you know, for children, safety is the most important thing. They will do anything so that that sense of safety is not taken away, which means they'll please the parents. All children want to please the parents, and we will go, even our children will go to any limits to do that,
right.
right?
An
And we don't.
unconditional love. You see people that have been severely abused or traumatized that did not
Yeah.
have the fortunate upbringing that you and I had,
Yeah.
and they still want to connect with their biological parent. They could have
Oh,
been put in,
absolutely.
in horrible conditions or foster care, whatever, but there's nothing like having your own. And that's a part of the epigenetical trauma that a lot of
Yes.
people still have because it's generations.
Yes. Yes.
You don't do better unless you know better. And I'm sure that your grandparents, being very traditional Indian family, had high expectations of your father and your mother.
Yes.
That, and again, when you deal with cultures that there's a lot of people, even, African American community, and it's like, I say this with love, it's almost like we're crabs in a barrel. We're
Hmm.
all trying to get to the top, whatever it
Yes.
takes to get to the top. I'll step on you, I'll crush you, I'll be you, but then there's others that I will help you, I will support you, I will love you. So you did that with millions of, or maybe not millions, hundreds of thousands of women as an OBGYN
Hmm.
doctor. Thank you so much for that. Number one, I give you your flowers because to help women in that space, you dealing with hormones, you're dealing with pregnancies, you're dealing with cancers. There's a lot of things that women go through and they need a support system. Did you find that draining as well? Be honest.
Not really. It's funny, when I was working as an obstetrician gynecologist, what I realized was, and not to brag, but I was really good on the surgical side of things. Like I
Mhm.
just, I love the surgery side of things. But I think what really, that was my skill, but actually what brought me joy was really sitting with the women and just listening to them and just giving them the support they needed, like the emotional support,
Mm,
and just telling them how they're enough. They don't really have to bend over backwards to be the good daughter, be the good daughter-in-law, be the good mother, the good wife. And that would take so much of my time, but that was one area I just didn't want to negotiate on, and which sort of made me realize that, even then I was like, why do I do this? Why can't I just go, okay, this is your script, come back and we'll perform the surgery, you know, and just, leave the counseling to somebody else. But I just couldn't. And that kind of made me realize that there is there is this need that I had of, like, and at that stage I couldn't put my finger on it, but there was this special kind of support that I wanted, that I felt I didn't have. And that was what I was extending to these women, which I knew, just coming from my culture, they didn't have it either.
right.
That non-judgmental space where you can talk about anything,
Hmm. Hmm.
anything, and I'll not judge you.
Right.
And I think that space, it was so important for me to create that space for them.
Right.
And that really came to the forefront for me when when I went through my divorce. This is like nearly 17 years back. And not having that space, that non-judgmental space to just, to just blurt out
Right.
all those things that I was holding inside, because even my family was suffering with me, right? So I didn't want to put that on them,
Right. Right.
but I
Right.
also
Right.
didn't
Right.
have the safe space.
Right.
And I think that is so important, that sense of, having that safe space for women to really talk and just to share everything without being judged or looked down upon.
Well, judgment too is based upon people's experience, their lack of tolerance or their
Mm-hmm.
acceptance, their own boundaries.
Mm.
And, it's hard for people to say that they don't judge. It's how they judge.
Yes.
Because I'm judgmental. I tell
Oh,
people,
yeah, yeah.
I do, but I try to judge with love and an open mind because that allows me to edit and filter to navigate this thing called life. So you
Mm.
fast forward and you fall into this place called the human design. Now you would think that you had designed it already, being
And
obstetrics and gynecology. You already
yes.
know, as they say, from the womb to the tomb. You already know all of that good stuff. But coloring in the white space in the middle, what was that about?
Well, it's funny, how you asked me what I felt was missing. I just didn't know why I felt different. Like, I always felt I was a little bit different. Like, my thought process was different from the people around me. I was not thinking like that. I wasn't behaving like them, and I just felt like I didn't belong. And those questions were always there. What did I do there? What did I do wrong? Why are the people responding to me like this? But that was not my intention. Like, all these questions, and I just didn't have answers. So I just went through life. I left India, came to Australia after my divorce. I actually started my skincare brand, ran that for 10 years.
Mm.
And then I had to shed that coat off. And just when I was in the middle of running that, human design found me. Yeah, it was almost like I found my answers for the first time. And it was almost like this weight had lifted. And I was like, oh my God, now I know who I am. I know why my energy works like this. And I think the one thing that human design taught me was to accept me for who I am. This is who I am. I am perfect as I am. I don't need to change myself for people to love me or accept me.
Now you can answer this question if you want or not want, but you being a very successful, prominent, independent, progressive, forward-thinking doctor, do you think that uh, had a effect on your marriage?
Mm. Okay, I'll be very, very honest and vulnerable with you here. there are a lot of things that had an effect on my marriage, but one thing that I truly believe what had an effect on my marriage was my lack of authenticity. So
Hmm.
this is me, right? And I'll tell you how. This is me. I'm so used to playing small, so used to playing small that it had become my second nature. I didn't even realize that I was playing small, that I
Mm.
was dimming myself. So now you imagine, and you know what? There's lots of things went wrong in my previous marriage, I'm not excusing anybody's behavior or what they did, but this is my role in it.
Right. And that's all
This
we
is
can
my
do is be accountable for owning our own stuff.
Yes, I completely believe in ownership. So this is me playing small, dimming myself, being this demure Indian girl who is ready to follow all the rules. Somebody meets me. Now, what happens is the moment I become safe in somebody's energy, I unleash myself.
Mm.
Because now I don't have to play small, right? Because I'm safe.
Right, right, right.
And then you imagine the other person, how they are feeling.
Right. Well, they feel dominant. They feel in control. And sometimes, and no disrespect to anybody, but sometimes that's a manipulation tool. Oh, okay, well, she won't have anything to say about this, or she won't be upset about that, or she's naive, she doesn't know this, or this, that, and the other. And then you're like, okay, well, I'll accept certain things because I love you, because I don't want to make waves, because I want to please you. So I get it. So now you've mapped all this out. Were you in a Starbucks and saw somebody and they had human design written on the back of their shirt and you said, that's for me, I'm going to try that? How did you find human design?
No, it wasn't that. Actually, I think I was looking, I was online and this ad or something popped up. It's almost like being in a Starbucks t-shirt kind of a situation. Just online. And then this lady came up and she was talking about, affirmations and stuff. And I was like, what is she going on about? Anyways, I went into her website, looked at it. And then, of course, I went down the rabbit hole of I need to know more. I need to know more. And it just opened up. I didn't even join her program because I was just down the rabbit hole, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, and I found these few people and I was like, oh my god, yes. And I was hooked. And see, April, I am one of those people. I don't do anything by halves. Yeah, every tool that I have used to heal myself, I have gone and done a certification in that.
Wow.
Yeah, so every tool that I have used, I have gone and got, no, I want to be qualified because I want to know what my mentor is telling me. How does she know that she needs to say this to me? Right?
And that's me. When I get a coach or a mentor, I want to see what I need exuding out of your pores. I just don't go for the okey doke.
Yeah.
People are trained orators and they will say a whole lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it in action. That is, so I totally understand, that you want to do that, but you're a sponge too. And I can tell, I can tell that, knowledge is something that you absorb easily. And
Yes.
that again, you don't want to just, I don't just want to go along to get along. Is this really worth my time, my energy? And how am I going to be able to pay it forward? I see that in you. Explain to my brains, what is human design?
Okay. So, in short, human design is your energetic blueprint. This is how you present yourself in the world. It tells you how you gain knowledge. It tells you where your traumas can sit. And you know what? It is a tool. I'll just say this. This is not a labeling system. So everything in human design is an archetype. Yeah. So, okay, this is like, say, there's human design types. There's 5 human design types. So I am this type. But it's not boxing you. It's telling you how your energy best works in this world, and also what is the best way for you to make decisions so you can move forward, because everybody has a different decision making strategy. That is like just very surface level, but
Mhm.
that's also very fundamental to human design.
So when you figure out what your archetype, can you tell us what the 5 archetypes are?
Yeah. So the most common archetype of human design is the generator. Yeah. So the generator, there's 70% of the population, April. We are everywhere. So am I, right? Now, generators have been now further divided. There were 4 human design archetypes, but now there's the generator and the manifesting generator. But generator, yeah.
Manifesting generator, I'm telling you, we had a conversation in the green room about manifesting energy and what that was, and we were both had an aha moment because I get it. So I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then comes the 20% of the population is projectors. 8% is the manifestors. Now, when I say manifestors, I don't want people to start thinking that, oh, only manifestors can manifest. This is not about that kind of manifesting. And the rarest human design archetype is the reflectors. Yeah, that they make up about 1%. Now, the beauty of this system is, this is where I feel it is. Now, imagine a manifesting generator, right? All our lives, we have been told that we should not be multitasking. We have to put our focus on one thing, that one thing is the way, and which is brilliant if you're talking to a generator. But to a manifesting generator, you are the quintessential multitaskers of the population. But you just have to know how to multitask. And when I tell that to a manifesting generator, are you multitasking? And they go like, am I supposed to? I was like, yes. Because you have so much energy. If you do not let that energy out in multiple tasks, it just ricochets inside of you, and then you can't focus on that one task that you need to focus on. Not because you don't have enough energy, because you have too much and now it's scattered.
Right. And that's what my husband is. I'll say the word multitask, and he goes, I'm not signing up for it. And I said, well, why not? He says, because I need to give whatever my goal is, or whatever my chore is, or my duty is, I need to give it 100% or 80% of my energy and my focus for me to bring it to fruition. But my husband also is a rule, and he follows a linear path, and I'll take him off course and do this and do that. And sometimes he'll pull back and say, no. And I'm like, but that's good for me because it keeps me safe. Because I'm like that hot air balloon. I'm going up there and he tethers me down. So I get that, but it's very hard for a multitasking generator too, because there is a lot of expectations that we put upon ourselves, not necessarily other people. And I can see those individuals also coming up with things like the imposter syndrome, or the overachiever, or the person that's saying, I'm not enough, because you keep pushing yourself. How do you find balance? How do you be able to visit some of these other places, like the reflector? Or how can you, change yourself to be the projector instead of the manifester? Is that a possibility?
So can you just ask me that question again? How is it possible?
Okay. Are you able to navigate and move in between these archetypes?
No. So your birth chart, because we go by birth time, so your birth chart is fixed, right? Because your design is formed 3 months before your birth. So there's 2 sides in human design chart, the design side and the personality side. Now, according to the transit of the sun, we call it the transit chart. So time to time, your chart can change, but that is just the flavor that you're getting because of the transit of the sun and the planets. Now, when you talk of reflector, now reflectors are a whole different kind of being. That's why there's just 1% of them. Okay, now I'll tell you this. So let's say a manifesting generator. And okay, I'll just take my example, right? I'm a generator, and my let's see if I can find my chart somewhere. There you go. Yeah. So you can see all these things.
Wait, put that up there again so we can try to take a look at that and see what that really looks like. Okay.
So let's just say this center, this top center, the head center is open for me. It's open. Now the sun may be moving in a way where my head center will be colored in, which we call definition.
Okay.
Now, the important thing for me to know is that is not my design. That is just a flavor I'm getting because the sun is moving through a certain way. Yeah, but so that's not my design. That is just a flavor. Now, for the reflector, what happens is, if, let's say, something's happening with the sun and the planets, and their chart becomes like mine. Because for a reflect, the chart is completely open. Do I have a reflected chart? I'll show you. No, I don't. So a reflected chart, everything is white, right? So
Okay.
now let's say something happens and two of the centers become colored in. Now the beauty of the reflector is that's not a flavor for them. They become that person.
Mm.
So reflector is the only archetype that can move between types. None of the other types can.
Okay. Now, you say the sun and the planets and the alignment. Would someone also benefit from this, from understanding a little bit of astrology?
Yes, but if you look at human design has all of it, right? So the human design has astrology, both ancient and modern astrology, like Western and Eastern astrology. Then it has the Chinese I Ching, which is a very, very old system. Like if you look at this, you'll see little numbers, little numbers
Right.
within the centers. Yeah, that comes from the Chinese I Ching, even these numbers. Then you have the different centers. So you can already say, like there's 9 centers here that comes from the chakra system.
Okay.
The Hindu chakra system. Then there is, if you look at the chart, between the centers, there's connections. Can you see these lines and connections? And it forms like this amazing structure that comes from the Kabbalah, the tree of life.
Mm.
And everything is brought together in this chart by quantum physics. So you don't have to know each system separately. Yeah, because what we tend to sometimes forget is we are not parts. We are a quantum of all these parts.
Right.
We are a human being, right? And that's why I call this just a tool. I don't want anybody to label themselves with human design, because this is just a tool. This doesn't tell me what your upbringing has been. This doesn't tell me what your traumas are. I can tell you where you may be holding your traumas, but I can't tell whether has there been abuse in your life? Has there been neglect in your life? Has there been abandonment in your life? So this is just a tool to kind of go, okay, this is where you may be holding your traumas. This is what is your existential question. What question you keep asking of yourself. But it really can't. It is just just a tool to get to know yourself. So we are quantum. We are this beautiful mix of our life experiences and parenting and epigenetics and all of that, and human design.
Right. How does this raise our frequency to bring us the highest and greatest good, to bring us joy, to, again, you're looking at your past experiences.
Yeah.
How does this help us prepare for our future endeavors?
Okay, 2 things. The first thing I'll say is that I don't know if you've heard this quote. I read it somewhere. It says, if everybody on this planet said to themselves, I am enough, all problems on this planet will be gone. The only reason we think we are not enough, because we think there's something wrong with us. First thing. And so what human design does is it really shows you how you are enough. That chart, my chart that you just saw, it's an illusion that I could be any better than this. I have been created in perfection. The day I accept that I have been created in perfection and I'm not broken and there's nothing to be fixed, that is the start. The second thing is, if you don't know where you are, it's like the GPS, right? If you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going. So human design can actually be your starting point. Where am I? What is my existential question? Like the 2 most common, I'll just say the only 2 questions people ask is, will I be accepted for who I am? Or they ask, am I lovable? Those are the only 2 questions.
I want to be seen right now, Reema. That's the big buzzwords. It used to be mindset, consciousness. Now they want to be seen and they want to be heard.
Yep.
But what are you saying? And what are you looking like, Brains? My husband said, you look like a soup sandwich. Take that in. A soup sandwich. That's kind of messed up. It doesn't really even exist. So many people are reflective of their past. They don't start, like you say, from right now and move forward. They're always recanting their past because their past has brought them to where they are here in the present.
Yeah.
And fear, people say, don't be afraid. Fear is a gauge.
Yep.
Fear is a stopping point. You know, when I manifest things, I always put obstacles in the way because I know there's going to be challenges. And if I don't accept the fact that there is going to be bumps in the road, then I'm cheating myself. I'm lying to myself because those things are the things that really give us the chutzpah to move forward.
Yep.
Give us the opportunity to make corrective action. They give us the opportunity to apologize, if that's to nobody but yourself.
Yeah.
And to be afraid that something may happen, that's a stop sign saying, hey, warning, you might want to slow down or you might want to revisit this. So what do people have to look forward to when they work with you? Because I'm going to tell you something. That chart is, to me, it speaks Greek. Okay. No, yeah, I mean, I'm being honest. If I was to come in there and you say, oh, we're going to create your human design chart, and I'm looking at this, I'm saying, well, this is like going into surgery with you. I don't know what we're doing here. I have no idea. Okay, and I get that. You understand how to read that. But how do I take what I learned from you, apply it with real-time application, and be able to utilize that? Because again, like a doctor, once you've done the surgery, you don't want to keep seeing her coming back every 6 months. You want her to be healed. So how do we progress to that point?
Okay. So, I'll just quickly touch on what you said about fear, right? Which is so interesting because there is what you said about instinctual fear. It's an instinct. There's something wrong. And you just need to halt, you need to stop. And then sometimes you need to reassess, but sometimes you just go, I'm just going to push past this fear. Now, this is the beauty. And I feel in human design is like, there's actually 3 categories of fear: mental fear, emotional fear, and instinctual fear. I'll show you again. Yeah. Mental fear sits here. Yeah. Instinctual fear sits here, and emotional fear sits here. Now, the moment I look at somebody's chart and I go, okay, I know where this fear is coming from, right? Immediately I know, okay, I may just have the answers to how you can best overcome this fear. Now, when I say best overcome, I can only suggest. Action has to be taken by that person to overcome that fear. I can't do the action part for them, but I can show them, okay, this is the best way you can actually overcome this particular fear. Because fear of instinct, like I can't walk down the dark alley, is a completely different fear from, oh my God, I really can't do that public speaking because,
Right.
Completely different fears, or mindset fears. I don't think I can do this because I don't have it. It's a completely different fear. It's not an instinctual fear. So to actually get to know where this fear is coming from, like I said, GPS, right? I know where I am. I know where I'm heading. That's the first thing. Second thing, like I said, I use lots of somatic healing techniques to actually unearth those things, to remove what I call the sludge of deconditioning. We decondition. So all this conditioning that we have, these fears, these limiting beliefs, we have to remove that. So the way I look at it is that you don't have to change yourself. You just have to reveal yourself. It's all been covered up, right? By sludge, by conditioning. So, which actually brings me to this really interesting, I'm actually writing a human design book.
Oh, wow.
Now, the idea of that book was, I'm not going to write a textbook. I am not a textbook writing person. Yeah. Because I forge my own path. So what I wanted when I did human design is like, I want to know what now? Okay. I know my design. Yeah. I know my type. I know my profile. Now what?
Exactly.
How do I take this and apply this into my life? Right. So I started down this, again, a rabbit hole of deconditioning. What can I use? What can I do to really, okay, this is what this is where my fear is. This is how I can overcome it. Yeah. So what that book covers is almost every kind of deconditioning tool that you can use. Like I have crystals and sound healing and emotional freedom technique, and there's flower essences, there's essential oils. There's also nervous system regulation techniques that you can use that will just kind of, bring you to that place of neutrality.
Okay.
because we are lost. We are kind of in the dungeon a little bit when we first start this healing journey, right? I was there. I know what it feels like. Like from the basement, we come to level 1.
Right.
Now you're talking. Now you're neutral. And now I know, okay, this is what works for me. There are people who love crystals. They swear by crystals.
Right.
Yeah. So I go, okay, use your crystals. That's the tool. If you believe in them, use them. There is no right or wrong way of healing. You have to resonate with the right way of healing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
that's what the book does. It just kind of shows you the different paths that you can take. And you can also use all of them if you like.
Right. But you know what, brains, and I'll tell you, don't overshoot it. Okay.
Yeah.
And don't
Yeah.
overthink it.
No, that's right.
Try things, see what works for you, what makes you feel comfortable, what you want to master in. Work with someone like Reema that is going to guide you, not dictate to you. She cannot change your life. Okay. When you came to this planet, there was already a soul contract. There was already
Yes.
an agenda from the womb to the tomb as to
Yes.
what you were going to do. However, we were given free will to navigate through that. And so you want to explore your options. Some things may be painful. They may drudge up a lot of pain, but there's joy on the other side.
Oh, absolutely
And
agree.
happiness is a high. Let's talk about that for a minute. I talk to people about that. It's like a cocaine or heroin because they keep chasing it. They're not happy at just being, being complacent, being conscious, being in the moment. They're always looking for something else. What do you say to the person that keeps chasing the high?
Mm. Live in the moment.
That's all you have is the present.
That's all I have. You know what? It's so simple. That's why people don't do it.
Mm.
It's too simple because you know what? We all want to have that sense of, oh my God, I have done this. I want validation. I want an award, you know? And then you give them something that they just can do and they go, oh, that's too simple. No, that's not going
Right.
to work, you know?
Yeah, I was this wonderful gynecologist, and now I'm just dealing with people with the human design. I'm picking on you because I love you and you're smart. But I mean, again, like you say, okay, so I've done this, I've achieved this. I'm a great surgeon because there's OBGYN doctors that are not surgeons. I've been able to heal people. They've come back. This woman, tried and had so many miscarriages, and now she's had a baby, and I've been a part of that. All of that. But there was still a happiness hunger for you that wasn't enough. And so, are you enough now?
I'm enough.
Good.
I'm well and truly enough.
That's that. And see, that's it. I don't know. I felt that in my heart right there. You are enough. And that's what I tell myself too. It's like, do you really want more of me? You really want your cup to overflow with me? Yeah, I get it. I get it. And it's a lot of fun. So let's ask you some fun questions, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Because we've done the deep dive. If you were a tool in a toolbox, what tool would you be and why?
I can only think of a hammer. I don't know. Okay, hammer. Let me just go with the first one that came to my mind.
Why would you be a hammer?
Oh, I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Like,
Well, but I think that you are a builder. I think that you are a constructor. I think that you are a person that drills down deeply.
mm-hmm.
So I can see you as a hammer.
Yes,
I'm
okay.
duct tape. I'm duct tape.
Love that.
Duct tape because again, I want to be able to put it together.
Yes.
I want it to stick. I want it to stay. I want it to be strong. I want it to be resilient. And
Yes.
you can do a lot of things with duct tape. You can make a
Oh,
wall
yes.
out of duct tape.
Absolutely, yeah.
What would be duct tape? If you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Oh, a blender.
A blender, okay. Why would you be a blender?
Oh, I just love smoothies and stuff.
I see you being a blender because you are a mixture, that you love to pull things together,
Yes.
that you like to create something, that it starts out one way and it ends up something else. I want to be a garbage can.
Oh,
You know why?
why?
Because I want to be the place that no longer you dispose of the things that no longer serve you. I want to
Oh,
be the place where you can recycle and renew. I want to be the place that you take out often and regularly. I want to be the thing that you take great care in keeping clean and smelling good.
gosh, I'm feeling a bit superficial right now.
Oh, absolutely not. Uh, if you were an animal, what animal would you be?
Ooh, the only thing that comes to my mind is a cheetah.
Ooh, okay. Why would you be a cheetah?
Ooh, I think it's just that that kind of power in the cheetah is just they're so agile, and and the way they run, and just it just looks so effortless and so graceful, and yeah.
And they're quick and they're
Oh,
slick and they're smart.
oh, so
Yeah,
smart. Yeah.
I'd be an elephant.
Oh, I love elephants.
I
Oh,
would be an elephant because they're big, they're powerful, they're mindful, they're great parents, they never forget, they're useful. And I don't know, I went to a elephant sanctuary in
yeah.
Thailand and I got to watch them and I got to look into her eyes.
Oh,
And she spoke to me. She spoke to me. She knew me. I don't know if it was a past life experience. I don't know what it was, but I have been forever changed. I have been
mm.
forever changed. If you were a car, what car would you be?
Oh, okay. Hmm. Some kind of an electric car.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Sustainability,
Absolutely.
renewable, sustainable. Yeah, I'm kind of, yeah, losing the whole faith in the whole fossil fuel and all of that.
Right? Right?
I'm just all about sustainability. So I'm like, okay, any kind of electric car. I'm not fast.
Yeah.
Just give me it.
I want to be a 1968 VW van.
Ooh.
Yes, honey. I want to have a mattress in the back, a hookah pipe. I want a fine brother with a big afro. I want to be listening to some Jimi
Oh
Hendrix.
yeah. Oh, that is like
Yeah,
so you. That
that
is
is
so
me.
you.
That is so me. I don't have to be quick and slick. I don't have to be new. I don't I need something nostalgic, that is loving, that is warm, that is comfortable and represents peace. That's what I want to be. What planet do you align with the most out of the nine in our
Venus.
solar system? Venus.
Venus.
Why?
I'm hot as if.
Whoa. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I'm kind of Saturn.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm out there with the rings, with the energy, with the force field, with the power,
Yeah. Yeah.
again, and a little untouchable sometimes, a little
Mm.
bit unreachable.
Yeah.
And I ask these questions because you know what? I got such a great insight on who you are,
Oh.
not just without doing the human design, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not my zone of genius. But that
Yes.
gives me, and when I would interview people, they would ask, why would you ask those questions? Well, because it lets me know what you think about yourself that you
Mm.
probably never thought before. I had this one woman tell me one time that I said, what animal do you align with? She said, a snake.
Mm.
Yeah. See how, like when I said the garbage can, you said, hmm. I said,
Mm.
well, why would you be a snake? She says, because I move on the ground level. She says, I know how to get in and I know how to get out. I know how to strike. She says, I
Ooh.
know how to capture my prey and swallow it whole. Right?
Whoa.
Yes, that's what she said, girl. And then she told
Woohoo.
me that
Go girl. Love
she told
that.
me that she knew how to shed it. Talking about her skin.
Yes.
She could get it off of her. I gave her the job, right? Because sometimes, brains, you need a snake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It is a part
Uh-huh.
of shedding. It's a new beginning. But I was very careful with what I put in front of her, what I
Hmm.
told her. I strategically positioned her. So when you do things like ask these questions or you do the deep dive with the human design, because a lot of companies are incorporating these type of modalities and learning in the interviewing process, they want to see how you will fit in with the team.
Yes.
They want to see how they can trust you long term or what they can trust you with long term. They want to understand your psychological profile. Oh, yes, they do.
Hmm.
Okay. So uh, I think the first thing that came out to me or that I was exposed to was Myers Briggs.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that was, it's similar, but it's not the same. But I realized how many other opportunities there were and other jobs that I would have been great for based upon my personality and how I interact. So do the self assessment. Sit down and write yourself like 15 random crazy questions as to who and what you are, what you aspire to be, what your parenting skills are, and then reflect on it because somebody might ask you the question. Thank you so much, Dr. Reema, for being here on the edge. I enjoy you so much. I think you are a
Thank
beautiful
you.
soul. Thank you again for all of your work that you did with healthcare. You could have done anything else, but to be able to do that to help people to live their highest and greatest good, I commend you. Oh, and before we stop,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. Now, I know you're not doing it right now. You're transitioning, but tell us a little bit about that skincare. How did you start in the skincare business?
Oh, I started making things for my daughter. So
Oh,
I wasn't working at that stage. I was still looking after her, and she started going to the daycare like 2 days a week. So I just had enough time to kind of potter around, do a few things for myself. And before I knew it, it was like I gave some presents away for Christmas. Started making things for her, and people started wanting more. Okay, what do I do next? So my sister-in-law was the one who actually said, "You should start a business." I'm like, really? Never done business ever. She goes, oh, just do it. So I spoke to my husband and he said, he was lovely about it. He said, but if nobody buys it, we'll still use it. So I was like, okay.
again, that's very powerful as well because of what you put on your skin. And I tell people you are what you eat, what you absorb, your environment. You have to be careful with parabens. You have to be careful with dry skin. There are some women out there, yes, women, I'm calling you out. You think that you got a tan, baby, you look like a lizard. Your skin, well, I'll say it. You don't have to say it, but you need a good exfoliator. Your skin is the biggest organ on your body. You need to
Yes,
moisturize it. You need to nurture it because again, it's not attractive to think that you've been out there and you've got all of this. I used to work for a high-end cosmetic company and I would come in and the woman again would be looking like a little lizard and I would do an exfoliation on the back of her hand and then I would massage it with the moisturizer. Baby, she walk out of there $200-300 worth of products later. Be good to yourself. Take a nice bubble bath, luxuriate in a beautiful fragrance. It doesn't have to be overstated.
no,
Moisturize your skin, moisturize your face. You don't want to be looking like you're 900 years old.
no.
Take care
That's
of yourself, pour into yourself. So you have done so many things to pour into others. Brains, I want you to pour into her. She's about to tell us how to get in contact with her so that we can love, like, share. We can look forward to the book and we can follow her on social media. How do they find you, Reema?
thank you so much. So I do have a website. You can get in touch with me through my website. It's just my name, reemashamim.com. And you can do your human design chart there for free, get a report, and you can get in touch with me. The other way is through Instagram. I have an Instagram handle called Reema Shamim Coaching and my Facebook, Dr. Reema Shamim. So a few ways to get in touch with me. And yeah, just send me a message, say hi, and I will say hi back.
In case you want to go to Venus, uh,
Mm,
in case you want to have some wonderful experiences,
yes.
check her out. All right, Brace? I love you from the bottom of my socks because my heart is just not deep enough.
Oh, I love that. Oh, you are such a delight, April.
Thank
I
you.
love
Thank you so much. Brains, go in, love, like, share, and subscribe right now. Love,
it.
like, share, and subscribe. Yes, I'm pointing the finger at you. Yes, I am, because I want you to take action right now. I want you to, don't worry about what's going on out in the world. Okay? It's toxic. Worry about what's going on in your heart. Take care of yourself. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else. Well, maybe we can. We're going to try to take care of it here on the edge. Bye, brains. Have a good day, Reema.
Bye.